talk about Formula One, so that's what we're going to talk about this evening. How about that race yesterday? I don't think any of us saw that exactly coming. The fact that Mercedes either allowed Valtteri Bottas to win, or that he actually won it on merit, I think is going to be the discussion for this week and going into next week as well. So had some interesting conversations about that post-race. Just the fact that where did Lewis's pace go, and then also where did Ferrari's pace go? To have both the Ferraris behind Max Verstappen, that doesn't bode well for the season. But I guess I'm more intrigued by the fact that, let's see if I can do this without getting in an accident here, more intrigued by the fact that Valtteri ends up finishing not just 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds, but you know, a third of a lap ahead of Lewis Hamilton, or whatever the split was. So I do think that this was a little bit of a thank you to Valtteri for last year for being such a good wingman for Lewis, but I have a hard time believing it's going to be repeated throughout the season. So I think this was Toto telling him, you must go ahead and let Valtteri go on this one, give him a little bit of a break after he basically played wingman and rear gunner for you all last year. So I don't know, we'll see. Predictions, I believe that's probably the only time that he's going to end up winning a race this year, at least potentially on merit. So, or he may end up getting told to let Lewis by. So we all know who the number one is, even if they say they're going to let them race at Mercedes. I don't see that being the case. So going backwards throughout the grid, definitely a good showing for Max Verstappen to be the first, I think, since 2008 or something around that, somewhere around that time frame, to be the first Honda-powered unit to be on the podium. That's fairly impressive. Obviously, going further back, the Ferraris just, again, where did the pace go? To be that far off the pace of the Mercedes is really surprising, especially with how dialed in the Ferraris looked all weekend. They seemed to have a car that was just absolutely on rails, but evidently neither one of the drivers was all that happy with the balance. So hopefully they can get that worked out over the next few weeks and come back ready to go in 2 weeks. But yeah, that's concerning. This could be another year of Mercedes unfortunately dominating everyone. If you're a Mercedes fan, good for you, but for the rest of us that are not on the Lewis Hamilton bandwagon, we might be in for some trouble, or we're going to have to put all of our might behind Max Verstappen. So we'll see what happens. I think Haas again. How many years in a row? I said it in the last vlog. How many years in a row do we have to worry about putting our wheels on? Mr. Grosjean, everyone's favorite checkers or wreckers driver. I guess just, boy, what do the mechanics have to do to put a wheel on? So at least this year it wasn't a double retirement. So Kevin Magnussen coming in the top 6 is definitely a good result for best of the rest for Haas, which again, I think we had a little bit of an inkling that was coming, but good for them. Hopefully we've got some competition where they can start sneaking up in the next season or two on the big three. Other people of note, I don't think any of us saw Lance Stroll getting into the top 10 either, and especially outperforming Checo. So that's still a little skeptical on his actual racecraft and true skill level, but that's promising that he is in the top 10. And very, very strange to see that Sergio Perez is not in the top 10, but he is. So evidently all of Daddy's money has done something to get him some extra simulator time or some extra laps during the preseason testing. But so we'll keep our eyes on that arrangement, because I don't think any of us truly think that Stroll is going to be real competition for Perez, but we'll see what happens. How about the retirements? Carlos Sainz to have his car turn into a Roman candle right at the pit entry. That was kind of interesting. It was surprising too to see how long it took him to get out of the car. I believe he knew he was on fire for that long, but again, thank you for the halo to keep a driver nice and caught up inside the furnace there. Also, a big one to talk about is Danny Rick not surviving his first home Grand Prix for Renault. So obviously the car had some pace, at least to be up there kind of competing with the Haas potentially, or the Alfa Romeos and things like that. But still don't know if that was the right decision to trade in his Red Bull colors for Renault. And then we have another, yet again, Danny Rick retirement. So that'll be another one to see what happens, because clearly either Renault absolutely hates him and wants to sabotage him in every way, shape, or form, which I don't think is the case, or he's got some seriously bad luck that he needs to contend with. So the Alfa Romeo package looked pretty good as well. Obviously Kimi Räikkönen up there in the top 10. It definitely shows the disparity between him and Antonio Giovinazzi, that he's running back there towards the end of the grid. Williams is another one that the dumpster fire continues. So I was waiting for George Russell to say something along the lines of, boy, this GPE2 package felt pretty strong this weekend, and make some subtle digs at Williams. But I know Robert Kubica made the comment that this thing was just undrivable. So Williams has definitely got their work cut out for them. This is probably going to be another year that, unless they get some help with retirements and things like that, probably going to be a struggle for them as well. So I'm trying to think of who else that I'm missing going up the grid. Obviously we talked Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, Haas, Racing Point that I keep calling Force India, McLaren. That was one that I guess I didn't touch on. McLaren, Lando Norris looked pretty good, aside from being his teammate being on fire. Lando looked pretty good throughout the weekend, but still definitely not running up where they want to be going forward. So yeah, if I missed anybody, it's because I'm driving with no cue cards here, trying to remember where all the drivers finished up. So I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments who I left off. One team that I forgot to talk about was the Toro Rossos. That was another fairly impressive showing, to see them actually running with some pace. Again, the Honda power unit does seem to have seems like she's up there along with the Ferrari power unit and the Mercedes. So probably even ahead of the Renault, if not comparable. So they've made some serious strides over winter testing and development. So we'll see if that continues to be the case. I know they did say that they were using Toro Rosso as a little bit of the guinea pig for tunes and power outputs and things like that, because obviously they'd rather launch the engine in a Toro Rosso than kill the engine in a Red Bull. So that's another team that definitely was, I think, overperforming what our expectations were. So, but obviously we'll see if our friend Danny Kvyat ends up turning into the torpedo again this season, or if he can truly learn from past years of mistakes and show some pace. So, and we'll be talking next week, obviously, about the upcoming Grand Prix. We'll catch up on qualifying, and then I'll try to do a post-race recap as well. So for now, I'm going to put a couple more miles on and taking the twisty road on the way home here and enjoy myself. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Bye.